What's up, it's you? For today's video, we've been full Strike Moves Pokemon team. So we got Bolt Strike, G-Max, Chi Strike, Max Strike, Shadow Strike, Smart Strike, Soul Stealing 7-star Strike, Sunsteel Strike, and Surging Strike. So a couple of those moves I can't actually use, but I'll be using all the Strike base moves that are accessible to me in Sword and Shield. If you do want to check me out on Twitch, people, this is where I do all my live streams, my theme teams, my Pokemon sweeps, all other forms of self-entertainment. Let's get into today's video. Now, of course, if you enjoyed the videos, people, make sure you do drop a like on there. Helps me out and it helps you out too, so you can see it in your subscriptions box. Now, with these sort of teams here, I've got strike moves that will do damage to the opponent only. So that's the only thing I'm allowed to do to the opponent. But I have got status moves to help out the strategies along the way if needed. But all of the damaging is going to be done by the strike moves. This is a battle against a Peepsalot, and we got a Escavalier lead swapping into a Dragavish. Now, the only move that Victini that had strike in it was Bolt Strike. I didn't really want to use Zekrom either because that thing was like way too powerful. So Dragavish is going to swap into a Bolt Strike here, and I got to Paralyze. So that was actually really good. The item on this Victini was Choice Scarf, and I had Max Attack, and I had Max Speed. I think I had Adam and Nature on this one too. So we're going to go for another Bolt Strike here on the Dragavish. This seems to be like a really bulky Dragavish. Like, it's doing nothing. It's very tanky. I love the animation on Bolt Strike too. It looks really cool. So we're going to Whirlpool Dragavish, only up here on the channel here, and it's going to be doing pretty good amount of damage to Victini, and it's going to trap me in, so I can't actually swap out at this point. And judging on the damage I'm doing to Dragavish and the recovery that's got leftovers, I believe it's going to be like a 3-hit KO. I don't know if it's got any other moves outside of Protect and Whirlpool here, so even if it does use Protect and Whirlpool, I'm not actually really sure I'm going to be able to take it out. And yeah, anyway, so what I can do is just continue to spam the Bolt Strike. Now, one thing in this battle, I wasn't allowed to Dynamax. I was only allowed to Dynamax one Pokemon for specific moves, like the G-Max move, G-Max Chi Strike, and Max Strike. So they were the only Pokemon I was allowed to do that one, but you'll get to see that in a little bit. Now, the other move that this Dragavish had was Super Fang, so it's a trapping set with Whirlpool, and it's also got Super Fang to do extra damage, so there's no way my Victini is going to be able to beat this Dragavish at all. At least I got a bit of damage on it, but it was a very bulky set. Probably had Water Absorb too, let's be real. So it's going to go for a final Protect here on Victini. I used up a lot of my Bolt Strikes here. That was the only thing about this Victini. Once it used its Bolt Strikes up, it would start to struggle, and it could happen if the opponent did have Pressure ability and stuff like that, you know. So anyway, that's the end of Victini. It's very last turn is the next one, and Dragavish obviously isn't going to go down to a Bolt Strike. I thought they may try a double Scumbag Protect there, but yeah, that was my final move. I almost took it out. It was so close to a very good effort there, getting a nice little crit at the end, and Dragavish gets paralyzed this turn, so that was pretty good. Unfortunately, Victini is going to faint, but now what I can do is send in one of my other Pokemon in and hit them with a very powerful strike. So that's the end of Victini. This team was actually pretty fun to make too, because there's a lot of Pokemon that I was forced to use, you know what I'm saying? So next Pokemon is Mewtwo, and we've got Psystrike. Listen to this set. So I've got a Trick Room Mewtwo with an Iron Ball, Psystrike, Trick Room, Nasty Plot, and Wonder Room. My strike move on this is going to be Psystrike, and what I wanted to do here is set the Trick Room up first. Now, the problem is, right, the Dragavish was paralyzed. I was like, okay, that's going to outspeed me under the Trick Room, which is horrible, right? It had Dragon Breath, and then it paralyzed me. You wouldn't read about it, and then I got paralyzed. I was like, okay, well, at least I'm paralyzed. This is actually going to help me even further with my Trick Room Mewtwo strategy with Iron Ball, you know? So the EV spread on this Mewtwo, I made it very tanky. I gave it max health. And, you know, Mewtwo's actually quite a tanky Pokemon. Most people look at it as a speed and special attack, but it's actually got quite good bulk to it. So setting up the Trick Room here, I've got Quiet Nature too, dropping its speed, like hindering that speed as much as possible, and you know, as little IVs and speed as you can get, right? So Mewtwo's going to be hit by the Whirlpool again. I've been paralyzed, and I've got the Trick Room up, so now I can go for a Psystrike here. Psystrike is a very powerful move. It's basically just a better version of Psyshock, you know, but only a couple of, you know, very few Pokemon, you know, outside of Mewtwo can learn, unless like, you know, Smeargle and things like that. So bye-bye Dragavish. Finally, I got rid of that thing. So I thought that Skarmory may come out, but Durant come out. I was like, okay, well, Durant's got pretty good defense here. I mean, I'm not really going to swap out here. I may as well hit it with a Psystrike. I believe it's still going to do at least half of itself. So that'll be all right. So go for Side Strike here. Mewtwo's going to get paralyzed, which is very, very unfortunate. We got a special Durant, right? And it actually did pretty good damage to me. And the problem was to Struggle Bug drops your special attack. So it's a disaster right now. So I went for Side Strike, any damage is better than nothing, right? And I got paralyzed 2 times in a row. This Mewtwo got just dumpstered by a special Durant. I mean, only on Pin Run Shadow, people, you know? So bye-bye Mewtwo, beaten by a little bug. And the next Pokemon I'm going to swap in here is going to be Machamp. So this is my Pokemon that I'm going to be actually using for the Max move. So we got G-Max Machamp and Cross Chop, and I've got just any normal type move. I gave it Giga Impact. So we've got G-Max Cheese Strike and Max Strike. So that was the way for me to use both of the the Max moves, which I thought was pretty good. And it was the only Pokemon that could do it too, because G-Max Cheese Strike is a move that only G-Max Machamp can actually have. What does it do? It gives you the same sort of, it just gives you an increase in crit chance. So like focus energy, I guess you could say. And it also attacks too, you know, which is pretty nice. The EV spread I gave my Machamp was max health, and I also gave it max attack, and I also gave it a scope lens on top of that too. So go for G-Max Cheese Strike, doing some very good damage there, and giving myself a just an extra boost, or extra, I guess, a stage in the critting department. So getting hit by a Struggle Bug again. I've run Special Durant before, and I can tell you it's pretty limited on the special side. Now, this may even be a choice spec set. You know, you never know. But its special attack is really, really bad. So here comes Struggle Bug number 2. Not a lot of damage there to Machamp. Now I thought, well, I need to try and use both of my max moves there. So this is sort of like my self-challenge that I used the G-Max Cheese Strike move, but I had to use Max Strike, you know, if the chance arose as well. So that's both of the strike moves used there in G-Max. So bye-bye Durant. Next Pokemon, I thought it might be Skarmory, and it is. So Skarmory, I really need to hit with a G-Max Cheese Strike, and if I can get a crit, it'll be really, really good too. Skarmory's base defense is very good. It's a physical set with dual wing beat. So there's the first hit, and there's the second hit. I actually would have preferred Brave Bird, because it would have done recoil damage, but you know, that's how it was. So Machamp's going to go for the G-Max Cheese Strike here. I really like Shiny Machamp. Always like that. And I didn't get a crit there, judging on the damage you can see to it. I'm actually kind of surprised I didn't get a crit. So Skarmory's going to have weak armor, which is actually good, because my next hit will obviously be able to take it out there. Now, I was a little bit concerned there. I was like, well, will Skarmory be able to take me out with dual wing beat or not? Now, this was in the only case here that I could go for Cross Chop. I didn't want to go for Cross Chop because, you know, obviously it's not a strike move, but I had no choice with this one. So it's going to use Fury Attack. I was like, what? And it hit me 5 times, and it flinched me. I was like, what is this set? So Skarmory is going to use Fury Attack again. I'm not even joking right now. It gets a crit, and then it hits me with another one. So this one actually hit me 3 times, and guess what? I got flinched as well. They got 5 hits, then they got 3 hits, and both of them flinched. You wouldn't read about it. So Machamp actually goes down to a Fury Attack Skarmory, right? You won't see this content anywhere else. They were so lucky there. Next Pokemon is going to be Urshifu. I got to admit, I'm pretty salty after that. We're going to go to Urshifu. Obviously, I'm going to be using Urshifu on a strike move save. We got Surging Strikes, and we've got Bulk Up, Substitute, and Taunt. I just gave it Bulk Up, and I gave it Substitute, so maybe if I had the chance to set up Substitute, I could go for Bulk Up behind the sub. And also had Taunt too, in case I come across, well, some Pokemon that could set up some bulk or some annoying moves and stuff. Or just stall, you know. I've got the item King's Rock, so I could go for Surging Strikes and maybe get a lucky flinch, you know, like that Skarmory before, you know. So Skarmory's going to go for Dual Wing Beat, so it's got Dual Wing Beat and Fury Attack. So it's got multi-hitting moves, which is really mean. I actually thought I'd get flinch there, but I didn't. So I was like, okay, this is very good. So I went first, so it doesn't really matter. Sorry, I went second because of weak armor. So the funny thing about weak armor is, when you hit it with multiple hits, every hit is actually going to activate weak armor. So that was the first hit, and this is going to be the second hit. But I've got Bulk Up there. I wanted to get the extra boost in attack, you know. I thought that'd be pretty good. So bye-bye Skarmory. Now the next Pokemon we got is Mimikyu. I was like, ooh, this is good, because Mimikyu's normally got the Disguise ability. So if I can break the first disguise with Surging Strikes, that means I'll be able to hit it with 2 more Surging Strikes at +1. Now, my EV spread is pretty standard on this one. I always run max speed on Urshifu and max attack, and you want Jolly Nature on Urshifu. It needs its speed, it really does, because you've got ways to boost its attack already. So you'd always go for something like bulk up. Even like, say you're running like a more standard set, like, you know, you definitely want your speed on Urshifu. It likes having its speed. So we got the Mimikyu here. It's going to get hit. It's going to have a Citrus Berry. That actually saves the Mimikyu from living, but then it used Curse. I was like, oh, okay, so it's going to put a Curse on me. I thought it was a little bit more bulky than usual too. So Mimikyu is going to feint itself with a Curse, and it's going to put a Curse on my Urshifu. Now, Urshifu will feint the next turn to Curse. So I was like, well, I either swap the Urshifu out, or I just do as much damage to the next Pokemon as possible and then feint. Next Pokemon is going to be Hawlucha. I'm going to be real. I don't really want to swap a Pokemon out into this thing. I don't know what it's even going to be. And it's going to be Dynamax on top of that as well. And this could be a physical set. It could be a special set. Who knows? You know, you never know right now. So I thought I might as well hit him with a, you know, +1/3 Thursing Strikes is going to be pretty good. And, you know, I can't get a flinch, but, you know, it's still going to do some really good damage if I'm able to outspeed that thing. Just, you know, Hawlucha is a very, very fast Pokemon. So they're going to go for Max Guard instead. I was like, you know, deep down, I probably thought they were going to do that. So that's the anniversary. It's going to fade to a Curse from the Max Guard. That was actually very cruel, you know. Poor Urshifu, it's crying right now. So I could have swapped out there, but you never know. They could have gone for a Max Knuckle into my next Pokemon. That could have been very, very bad. Next Pokemon I've got is Escavalier. So this is my Smart Strike set. This has got Smart Strike, Sword Dance, Laser Focus, and Substitute. The EV spread on this big beast is going to be max health, and I've got max attack, Nature, or any sort of you know, increasing attack nature. Like, you could even have Brave. It doesn't really matter because my item is Quick Claw. So we've got some max Knuckles there from Hawlucha. Now, Hawlucha was actually kind of unlucky there because I was able to get a substitute up there before it hit me with max Knuckle because I got that Quick Claw right. So I was like, okay, this is good. I should be able to live the next one. And I went for sub again, and then I got another Quick Claw. I was like, wow, that's really, really lucky. So I was actually able to get around those you know, very powerful moves right there, which was very, very good, stalling out the Dynamax, you know. So I've used up my G-Max already, so I was very, very happy because it's not like I had another, you know, G-Max in the back end. So that's going to be the second Max Knuckle there. Sorry, that's it. That's the end of Hawlucha's Dynamax. So essentially, Escavalier completely stalled out the Dynamax, which was very, very lucky. Now, this Hawlucha actually turned out to be a special set. Now, apparently this Hawlucha had a way of increasing its special attack by Poison Jab, because that would be Max Zeus, right? But they weren't able to use it against Escavalier because it was a Steel type. So they've got Round as a way to increase their special attack with Throat Spray, which is pretty cool. Special Hawlucha, I've used it before, very, very limited though. I'm going to keep hitting this thing as much as I can with Smart Strike. So it's a 3-hit KO, and Focus Miss is going to miss there, which is very, very unfortunate. I'd say that probably would have taken him out, or at least put me on a very, very low amount of health. So Hawlucha pretty much got rolled there like my Mewtwo. Next Pokemon is going to be Tauros, and Tauros will be able to outspeed me unless I get lucky and get a Quick Claw activation. Intimidate is going to be a little bit annoying, but that's fine. I'll get some Smart Strikes off because this thing is very bulky. And Bulldoze is not going to be able to take out Escavalier. Like, it's already got very, very good defenses, and when you give it max health, it's extremely bulky, you know? Like, if you've used Escavalier before. A very, very good Pokemon, Escavalier. I mean, if you just ignore its blaring 4 times weakness of fire, man, it's such a good Pokemon. Very, very underrated in my opinion. Last Pokemon's going to be Solgaleo. We got Sunsteel Strike. I just popped on a Choice Band here, and that was a set. Like, they had no other strike moves, and I was like, well, I don't really want to use any other moves because it's just too strong. So I gave it Sunsteel Strike with Choice Band, and this thing just hit like a truck. So I gave this max health and max attack, and I gave it Choice Band. That was the set, and Tauros is going to get absolutely rolled in one shot there. And that, my friends, is the very first battle with the Striker Moves team. Let's get striking on the next battle. This is a battle against Caleb, and this is also an interesting battle too, because a couple of really good counters actually came up here, and it was really early on in the game too. Oh, we're on the different arena too. And this is a very, very big counter for this team. When you have a look at my team, because, you know, obviously Victini would normally have a fire type move then, but only had electric type move. So Rotom with its electric and its grass typing was very, very good. So it's going to go for a Nasty Plot. They're interesting they used Nasty Plot against a Victini. Like, that was very, very interesting. Now they're going to go for a Shadow Ball here on my Escavalier. I just swapped it in because I was like, well, I need to swap this in maybe for a Grass-type move. I don't think they'll use a Grass-type move against Victini, but at least if I swap it in, they won't be able to use, like, Leaf Storm, right? So they use Shadow Ball. They were very lucky there to get a Shadow Ball special defense drop, because now they're going to go, they went full sweat mode here on the Rotom with +2 and special attack, and I was really, really worried that I'd actually even be able to stop this thing, you know, because of its typing. I'm just going through my moves right now. Okay, we've got Sunsteel Strike on Solgaleo. Well, that's a Steel-type move. That's going to be no good. We've got Surging Strikes on Urshifu. Well, that's no good. That's a Water-type move. Side Strike on Mewtwo. Well, that would be all right there, but I've got to be able to at least hit it because, remember, it's got Iron Ball. It's very, very slow. Escavalier, well, that's got Smart Strike. That's not going to really do too much either. You know, I didn't have, like, lots and lots of, like, options against this thing. So now they're going to go for a Max Phantasm coming off. Shadow Ball, Mewtwo is going to get rolled. So things are looking very, very bad here. This is a really, really good Pokemon. I think Machamp was my only option. I was thinking to myself, what can I do? I've either got to go into Machamp and go for the G-Max here and try and slow this thing down with a Max Strike, or just try and hit it hard with G-Max Chi-Strike. Unfortunately, just looking back now on this Machamp set, I know that I had to have these moves, but I probably should have given a status move so I could use Max Guard, but I felt like that was sort of like cheating, so I didn't really use, I got status moves with my other Pokemon, but I decided to not use that Max move. I probably could have, because it would have been handy to stall out Rotom's last turn of Dynamax. I could have gone, you know, Max Guard here, and then that would have been, it had a Dynamax, it would have been hitting us hard, but, you know, that was just a little thing of hindsight there. So now we got the Rotom going for Max Phantasm. That's going to do a lot of damage to me, almost half my health. I thought they may go for a Grass-type move or Electric-type move there. So what I'm going to do is I went for Max Strike here. I had to slow this thing down. I had to thought, well, maybe if I could slow it down, I could swap one of my other Pokemon in if Machamp wasn't going to be able to beat it. But I still did very good damage. I was happy with that. So that's going to be the end of Rotom's Dynamax here. And I was like, okay, what's it going to do again? Shadow Ball is going to try and drop my special defense. That's not going to do a lot of damage there either. I went for a G-Max Chi-Strike here, and that was actually enough to take it out, because I think I got a critical hit there. Plus, it was out of Dynamax too, you know. And the Rotom forms have got some pretty good bulk to them. Oh, it wasn't a crit. I guess it was just out of Dynamax, you know. And, you know, Machamp's attack's pretty strong with, you know, Adamant Nature. Next Pokemon is going to be Zapdos, and straight away I was like, uh-oh, if I use Max Strike here, it's going to activate Defiant, and that's bad. And I don't know if I don't know whether this is going to take it out. So I went for Max Strike. You know what? Let's just go for it, right? At least I'll drop the speed. Zapdos is going to go for a bulk up. I'm like, oh, that really sucks. But if I do get a critical hit, I will bypass that bulk up. So there is a chance there, but it's not obviously like Max Chi-Strike, right? So go for the Max Strike. Does a lot of damage to the Zapdos, and it is going to drop its speed. And I got the crit too, but it wasn't enough to take it out in one shot. I was like, man, that really, really sucks. So Zapdos is going to get a Defiant there, boosting his attack sharply, which is very, very dangerous. Now, Machamp will get outsped here, and it obviously is going to get wrecked. It's going to go for a close combat, and that's the end of Machamp. But a solid performance there. I mean, I took the Rotom out, and I did a lot of damage to Zapdos too. Now, I've got a couple of Pokemon there that can take this out. At least, you know, with that speed drop, that's going to be nice. And I can just swap in Victini here and go for the Bolt Strike and take it out. So pop in that Bolt Strike here, hoping I didn't miss, you know, and that is going to be the end of Zapdos. I think we got the shiny Moltres coming out early April, and that's the very last legendary bird. So I'm thinking about doing a legendary bird team with the shiny Galar ones and the normal ones. I thought that'd be really cool, so we could have all, you know, the shiny birds in one team. So that'll be coming up. That'll be coming up in April, I'd say. Next Pokemon's going to be Glaceon. I did a fair whack of damage to it, and it's going to go for Ice Beam. It's like, okay, it probably doesn't have, you know, much to hit my Victini with. It's got, let's say, it's got an Ice move. Normally it's got Shadow Ball. That might be another coverage move, or Water Pulse, but I don't know. It's a little bit limited, Glaceon. So they're going to go for a quick attack. It was like a mix set, and I almost took the Glaceon out, but somehow it lived on like 1 health. The merch is available, right? Speaking of merch, people, I am working on some new merch. I know I said I was going to do that last year, but wow, yeah, life just happened. But I will definitely get some merch out this year. That's one of my goals this year. So if you enjoy them, I'm thinking about doing some stuff like some sort of like some t-shirts, hoodies, that sort of things. Like I've got a couple of cool slogans, like, you know, I'd like to use you wouldn't read about it, you know, can't make this shit up, like stuff like that, you know, like some of my sayings, and also some just like some nice, neat little designs as well, just like with a small logo and stuff like that. So I am working on a couple of those things, but they're still in the design period at the moment. But you know, I'll update throughout the year on that. Anyway, so next Pokemon that we got is Kabutops. This was a pretty interesting set. It was a Dig set. I was like, well, Victini's going to get destroyed by Dig, because Dig's got pretty good base power, so I swapped into Solgaleo. I was like, well, I should be able to take this and then take Kabutops out with the Sunsteel Strike. It did a lot of damage. It did half my health, so, and it's got Life Orb. I was like, wow, no wonder it did so much damage, right? Now the Kabutops is going to go for a Subtube. It was actually kind of funny how it went for a Subtube forward and my move missed, you know? So going for the Sunsteel Strike, this will easily be able to break the sub. The best that Kabutops can do is go for Dig again. And, you know, if it outspeeds me, which I think it will because I'm not running any speed, I will be able to live it. Unless it critical hits me or something like that. So Kabutops is going to bury its way under the ground again there. And I'm just going to keep going for my move over and over because I've got the choice band, right? So I know that I can take this out in, you know, in one shot, right? So Kabutops almost takes me out there. It's very, very close. And that Life Orb just does that little bit of extra damage, you know? So go for the Sunsteel Strike here, and that will be the end of Kabutops. But that's pretty interesting. So we had a very standard Rotom, a very standard Zapdos. I mean, Glaceon seemed to be standard apart from the quick attack, and a Dig and Substitute Kabutops, which was interesting. I did mind that set. So next Pokemon's going to be Blastoise. I was like, oh, what is this going to be? So I was like, well, I'm locked into Sunsteel Strike. I guess there's no real point me swapping out here. Let's just get some damage and, you know, pray that I get some decent damage there. And it was pretty good. It was nice, half health. And then Blastoise went for the generic Shell Smash. And I'm like, oh, no. So, I mean, they have to attack me this turn. I know they'll outspeed me, so Solgaleo is definitely going to faint here. It's whether I can actually live a move from Blastoise or outspeed it. Now, I will say one thing right here. In this battle, I actually forgot to put Choice Scarf on Victini. Like, it had no item at all. And I was like, man, like, I wonder if this will actually cost me the battle. So going to Victini, I was like, well, let's see what happens here. What moves did it have? It used Hydro Pump and a miss. I was like, wow, that was really, really lucky. Perhaps I'd say that I would have outsped Blastoise with a Choice Scarf, like, even though it used Shell Smash. I'm not sure what nature the Blastoise had. Let's say it was timid. Like, if someone, off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of the calculation. It would have been quite close because I had Choice Scarf as max speed, but it was interesting there that it missed some Hydro Pumps. Like, wonder what move it's got. Has it got Scald or Hydro Pump or something like that? And Charizard's going to come in here and it flinches me. I was like, no, that was really lucky. So the Hydro Pump miss and then the flinch with the Air Slash. I'd say my move would have taken Charizard out in one shot easily, but that's how it was, you know, like crazy RNG back and forth there. So last Pokemon is Urshifu. I am running Jolly, but this thing is going to be outspeeding with Air Slash. And as you know, this thing's got terrible special defense and it's going to get dropped in one hit. And that, my friends, is the second battle there with the Strike moves team. Some bit of interesting RNG and some good counters there. I hope to see you tomorrow for another video, people. Peace out.